Nope, still muted.
Hey, everybody. We're trying to figure out audio. Somebody was muted. Looks like Rev is muted. Anyway, welcome in. It is, a Thursday night. This is not episode 11. This is the community AMA that I wanted to at least get everybody on stream. And so that we could, answer questions. I know we've been going for 10 episodes. I just figured this would be a good conversation. We can, toss stuff back and forth. I mean, you guys submitted a lot of questions. Thank you for that. I think it's going to be, it should be fun. It should be a good time. Tumnus will be here. He'll be joining us in a little bit. He's finishing up some stuff at home, and then we will get him in here when he's ready, and we'll go from there. So, and we created I created a little thing here. Let me see if this will work. Hey, look. All right, so I can display all your questions. I deduplicated them. I can display all your questions on stream and everything. So, but cool. Yeah. So, I guess we'll kick off with the questions. I really didn't plan much here other than we're going to do some questions and have a casual conversation. Usually I'm doing episode recaps and shit, but I'm like, I got nothing up. So
what is it without the recap then? Come on.
Last time on, I could play the little video that I made of the end of last episode. If
low-key. Fire.
Maybe later, right? But I will announce we can do that. I think we agreed, because I think everybody was good for Friday, May 1st. So 2 weeks from tomorrow will be episode 11. So for everybody out in chat, we will do episode 11 in just a little over 2 weeks. So I got a lot of prep work to do. All right. So, what I'll do is I'll kind of show everybody. So, if everybody looks on the stream, and for you guys here, I have it shared in Discord, just the question thing. I will pull up the first question here that we will go over. Right. And hopefully, everybody should be able to see it on stream. We'll go through this in a minute, and everybody should see it in Discord. So, wrote a little app to do this, so it would make it a little bit easier for us. And then, we'll go from here. The nice thing is there were a lot of unique questions that everybody submitted. There were a handful that were duplicates, which I would expect, right? Some people are curious about the same stuff. So I tried to consolidate all the duplicates that you'll see. And this is an example where we've had two people that asked basically the same question. So I just put them on one slide here. So. I hear a tumnus.
I hear something.
Ooh,
okay.
It's the goal.
Oh, it is tumnus. He is coming here to join us.
One thumbness.
I've come for your pickle.
Hey, whoa. Hey.
You're not getting them. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, buddy.
Pickle,
you
man.
can keep your own pickle here. Okay. So, as soon as Tumnus hops in the camera, you will all see his lovely face on stream.
Rev's going to reboot.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Due to technical difficulties.
Bags on bag.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, everything looks fine. It shows it picking up in the GoXLR app, but nothing will come through on Discord.
Are we live?
We are live.
Discord on it.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, my daughter was holding me hostage, literally.
Dude, that is always a good excuse. All right, let me go
to stop doing that.
I was like trying to escape, and like usually she's like, "Don't touch me. I want to go to sleep on my own." It's cool. This one night she's like, "I want to lay on your arm," and then she's literally like holding my arm like this. And I'm just like, and then I'm like, I got something. I feel like a bad dad. But then I gave her some applesauce. So that was our
applesauce. That's great.
Yeah, we all work on a little bribery.
Absolutely. The way the world works.
That's right.
What I've learned from my politicians.
Yeah, maybe.
Now he's getting it.
No, that doesn't happen. All right, let's see. Well, while Rev is coming back up, I think we're good shape here. I hope everything is good on your end there, Tumnus. Obviously with
Think so.
cool. We'll kill some time until Rev's back up.
Yeah, sorry. The cost of me being here, Rev has to.
Oh my god, fucking Windows update.
Of course.
Oh.
Actually,
Oh, that'll do it. That'll be it.
then you know what?
That'll do it.
Here's one. So we can actually start with this instead. Because like I said, I kind of skipped over the very first question was actually for Tumnus. And
Oh,
there
man.
were three
Right off the
other
bat.
repeats, or two other repeats. So three people repeated basically the same question, which is an awesome
Okay.
question, I think. So we'll start with that while Rev gets herself back up and running. So
Cool.
on screen here, and for everybody out there, we had three people submit this. So there was one anonymous, and then Rogie and Kate had submitted basically the same question. So how was going from campaign 1 to 2, or, you know, how has going from campaign 1 to 2 changed how you see your character? It seems like Awen is entering a new phase in his lore, Paragon development, etc. How does that change how you view and play him? And then the others are, you know, how does it feel to reprise your role as Awen? And have you found revisiting the character of Awen? Or how have you found revisiting the character of Awen? So basically it's, hey, you were in campaign 1. Now you're in campaign 2. Let's talk about that. What do you feel?
Well, to start off, there's a lot less dick jokes and fisting jokes, which I both appreciate and do not appreciate at the same time.
We can fix that. We can.
We
Yeah, I
fix
could
that.
up the fisting jokes if you.
Yeah, I was actually I was going to talk to you guys offline about that.
Caleb probably can't, but I think these guys got it.
No, I really like it. I love Awen. I love the idea. When I created Awen and I talked with Den, I was like, I want to create a character who doesn't want to really go on adventures and wants to go back to his normal life. And that's kind of like his whole MO. And you know, that was kind of like the whole theme of campaign 1, which was really fun. And
I
it
sense a
kind of
butt.
came to the head of this whole it came to the head of this whole Paragon thing,
Yeah.
where it kind of led to the ending of like, okay, well, Awen's either going to get butt dusted from doing the Paragon thing, or he's finally going to get what he wanted of he uses his powers and he gets to go back to normal. And that was it. And it seemed like it was more a bookmark of like, he doesn't get either of those, which is kind of sad for him, because he was at the point where it's like, well, it's either I die and I don't have to deal with this anymore, or I get to go back to my normal life. So it's great. And he got the third option of, well, crap, I still got these powers and all this sort of stuff. And then that's when the campaign ended, and that's when a few years went by, and I just kind of felt like Awen, like I didn't get to finish the conversation, finish like the character development of Awen. So actually on an offline, this is before Den approached me, maybe like 6 months before, I joined another D&D group, another party, who was already doing a few things. And I was like, you know, I just feel like I haven't played enough Awen. I haven't gotten to the point of like being happy or it's like satisfied with Awen's story. So I was like, let me pick it up and, you know, we'll go from there. And then
Awen
Den
was
came back and
cheating
was
on
like,
me.
I was cheating on you. So on my D&D Beyond, I have 2 Awens. I have an Awen that's a level 6, and I have an Awen that's a level 8. And they're both going similar paths, but like they're still uniquely different, which is really cool. And Den asked me to kind of come back, and is like, hey, you know, this is like a few weeks later. Like, what's going? Like, what do you? So like we like brainstormed over, okay, what has happened in 2 weeks with Awen, you know, and and I love working with the DM to kind of plant seeds for him, but not know the whole story, because I want to be surprised at the same time.
Right.
You know, the whole start of Awen was me messaging Den and being like, what if there's this guy who has no magical powers and he wakes up in the middle of the forest and next thing you know, he can cast magic.
Right.
That's all I told him. And then he took that and ran with it, and I didn't know anything. And reprising with Awen, it's like, okay,
Tumnus, you were talking about Awen and how you were doing the two characters, different campaigns and everything, and I just yeah. So I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's it's neat because I always thought that Awen was probably, of all the characters in the first campaign, probably the one that we didn't like. We did a lot with Awen, but it was probably the one that was left the most open, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else, while they weren't complete because they were still alive, right? Their arcs kind of had a bit of a finale to them, at least for the campaign. Yeah. Whereas Awen did, but there was still so much more you could do with it, right? So,
yeah, and I talked with, I don't know when it cut out, but essentially I was talking about how I kind of like, when I create a character, I like to kind of just give my baseline to the DM and let the DM run with it, and then I get surprised as along with the rest of the party and the rest of you guys watching. And so, campaign 1 was, okay, what if a guy just wakes up in the middle of a forest and he has magical powers? What does that entail? And we kind of extrapolated on that. And then the second half, reviving ourselves into campaign 2 was like, okay, he did his Paragon thing.
Mm-hmm.
He is now the hero of Bloodstone's Keep or whatever, which he hates. And now it's like, what's the next twist? And I just said, what if the tattoos are starting to kind of like, they're not only still there, which is abnormal for a Paragon, but also like, what if they're starting to like almost act like a virus? What if it's starting to act like a rash where it's like, it's uncomfortable? Like, that's why his arm's always bandaged while also trying to hide, that he's him.
9 out of 10 doctors recommend.
So I left it at that, and we said, cool. And then I kind of came back and, like you said, like, we didn't really dive super deep into Awen's stuff.
Right.
And I also talked with Den beforehand. I was like, I feel like Awen's kind of at this critical point in his life where it's like, he could go on to do great things. He could just decide to run away and be by himself, and anything in between. And I kind of, am kind of leaving it to like, it's really kind of how the party, it's kind of like how this campaign and how this party treats him, is. My idea is like, if you give a normal person the ability to change the world or do stuff, but he doesn't want to do that, will he step into that role, or will he want to go back into comfortability? And kind of depending on what happens with all of these characters and the interactions, with the Gravehand Syndicate, we'll see how that goes. I didn't expect you and Dave with Kalon to just dive into like this new like infection he has like right off the bat.
Well,
like I wasn't even like talking for like.
I actually didn't know anything about that. That's not me, dude. I just ran with the ball that I was given.
So,
dude, it was crazy. I was like, I introduced myself. I was like, cool, I'm gonna talk about how it's a little bit infected and stuff. And then you just instantly ran with it. I was like, oh, we're getting lore instantly. I wasn't expecting this.
Well, and that's what's interesting, right? So, and this is, I know some people, there's questions that have been submitted. We'll get to them a little bit later on, some like, oh, Den, how do you go about doing this and whether, and, it's funny because I always look for places when players give me their backstories. I said, how can I tie them together, right? Where are their commonalities? Where are their similarities? And, knowing what you and I talked about, Tumnus was, with and doing all the Paragon stuff, right? And then also the whole point that Awen was really more of a, just an intellectual, right? He taught at a college. He was not a very religious person, all that type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, but he obviously has this extraplanar power that was given to him. And what is the nature of it? And then flipping that over when Dave and I were talking about some of the Zenith stuff, and Dave revealed some of this obviously in the episodes already, is that, Paragons were, and we saw it in the last episode, were prophets of the Zenith of old. it's like, right. Like that was an opportunity. I'm like, we can tie this together. What's it going to be like where maybe, an intellectual who's not religious ends up getting prophetic power, of a major religion, right? I mean, that's a cool twist, right? And so,
More
and
than
then,
you
yeah,
bargained
there's
for.
obviously so much more to it, right? So,
Yeah, and it's like, and I love the we kind of like hinted at this as well. Like again, Awen just wants to like be alone. And in the campaign, the difference of like
Bing
how
bang.
am I reprising the role from 1 to 2? Campaign 1, Awen was very whiny. And in campaign 2, it's kind of like okay, maybe he needs to change up his method. Maybe it can be a mutual. I guess the way it's kind of like not like being a big brother, but being like I just did all of this stuff. Maybe there can be like I help you and in return you can help me.
Yeah.
Now, what was revealed in the last episode with what the heck all of y'all are about to do to me, I don't know if
give
I
it
don't know if
time.
anyone thinks that this
said
method is the
specifically,
right
you
way anymore.
walked forward.
It was a vision, right? It appeared in the floor. It was reflections,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm feeling sus vibes, but I think that's the other reprisal is like it's kind of changing it up where it's like he's accepting that like okay, he has this now. Maybe there's another way. Maybe he can mutually befriend some people and get something out of it in return.
Yeah.
And he also kind of feels guilty because the stuff that he had to do kind of got you guys into deep shit. And so he's like, I feel bad that you guys are like now like you guys got set up, and I didn't have anything directly to do with it, but I kind of had something to do with it. So
maybe
like,
that's
I can
why
help
they
these
all
guys
stab
out.
you with a sword later. So.
Well, it was only Dave that does it. Everyone else holds me down.
I
Right.
just lifted
Yeah.
the sword. You walked forward in the vision.
That's
true.
not how I saw it,
You
sir.
ran into my knife 10 times.
I just held
Yeah,
it there.
officer. So,
No, it's very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what more where this is going to evolve more. And quite frankly, Thomas, I was thinking about it too. You are now Awen is now the character that has been in more D&D Centromnia episodes than any other character. Because
Let's go.
all of
Round
campaign
of applause.
1, and now how many episodes in campaign 2? Like 5 of the half the ones in
At
campaign
least
2.
one.
Has it already been 5? Oh my
I
goodness.
think so. You
Time
came in episode
flies.
6 or 7, so it's been 4 or 5. So
Time's been flying, but
Yeah.
it's been fun. And then I think just the last thing, because I've been taking a lot of time. I think the dynamic as well. I've told everyone here offline. I love the different dynamics that you get in D&D. D&D campaign 1 was very jokey. There was some serious moments, but it was jokes, and I love that. And it's fun sometimes to get on with your friends and joke around. This one's been a lot more serious vibes, a lot more backstory driven, a lot more serious lore from everybody. And I love how the dynamics kind of changed from one to the other. And it's been, not saying campaign 1 I didn't like that. I love that, but I also love that it's kind of like a new avenue. It's not just the same thing, rinse and repeat.
yeah.
So that's been also really fun.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. All right. So let's mark that one as answered and let's go. Oh, you know what? Here's one we'll do real quick. This one's for Reckless. Who would Wes main in Deadlock?
Who would Wes main in Deadlock? Who would Wes main in Deadlock?
Bebop.
Bebop slaps, right? That was my main in Deadlock.
Oh, fuck that guy.
He plays it just because of the hate.
Fire Rate Bebop goes crazy.
Who would Wes play?
That is the question.
Paradox.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's yeah. That's
Mm.
good. Isn't that the one with the like briefcase?
No, that's Pocket.
No, that's
Oh.
Paradox
Pocket.
has
Low key though, the pocket, like the dimension stuff, like the way.
yeah, but Paradox has some like time stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
and thick thighs.
Oh, so
Yeah.
like-
See, that would
Just
make
like Wes.
sense. It's a good question,
All
Kate.
right.
Cool. Yeah, that would just make sense, right? With Westwood all the time stuff. All right, we will mark that one as answered too. I figured we'd get that one out of the way. All right, here's a good one, and it's for everybody. So there were 2 submissions for basically the same thing. There was an anonymous one, and then Jane had submitted this. What item is most important to your character, or what is one thing your character could not live without? So an item, physical, object, magical, person, etc. So we'll just, go around the horn, and everybody can answer that. So,
I gotta look at my character sheet.
Right? Who wants to go first?
I can start.
Cool.
I feel like mine's pretty obvious. So, most important item, obviously, Wes's amulet, and thing he couldn't live without would be Josie.
Oh,
Noted.
Wait.
Cool.
Get away. You get away.
Awesome. Who else?
Is that Leslie guy still around?
Mine's pretty easy, so I'll go next because Kat doesn't have a lot of like belongings or like old items or keepsakes or anything like that are important to her. But obviously Gia saved her life essentially.
Yeah.
And is her like just with her and protects her all the time. So it's definitely that. And I would say more, but I can't explain. Because I don't want to give things away.
Right.
No, you can. I'm not
Nope.
listening.
You just have to pry. You'll just the pry in character.
That's right.
find out.
See, and this is what I love. And I mean,
As soon as
assuming that all you guys, I mean, maybe you haven't told me every little detail, but I know all of you have told me a lot. So it's like, oh yeah, I love even that where I'm like, ooh, yeah, I can't wait till they reveal this thing too or whatever.
as soon as we make camp, so many people are gonna be like, "What the fuck's your shit?"
Right.
So anyway, what's going on?
Yeah.
Who are you?
All right. So who wants to go next? Hey, Rev, you want to test your microphone? Do you want to go next?
Well,
Hey.
decided to,
Yay.
we decided to use Brian's.
There you go.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Make sure your face is towards the mic.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I was just muting Reckless, so I didn't hear.
Oh.
Oh,
I would say probably similar answer to Brian. Probably like her weapons are very important to her, so I would say like maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like her weapons are also kind of basic, but like you can't live without weapons. Also, like person-wise, probably can't live without Wes. And there's also something else, but like we haven't really that lore yet. So yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, honestly, I have a whole thing, and Rev, you and I have talked a lot about it. Like, there is a whole zone I have planned with stories and backstories for Josie and Wes and everything, and it's pretty cool. So I can't wait till we get to it. Oh, it's sweet time.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a blast. Awesome. All right. Let's see. We've done the left side of the screen on stream. Why don't we do the right side, Dave?
Yeah, I can go. So Kalon like really hasn't got anything because like I mean for a lot of the reasons that I've kind of I've already shared on stream without giving too much away, but like he kind of already had a lot and he has had to give up everything. So he has lost everything that he grew up with. So he really has just been like wandering lost for a long time and like doesn't really have anything that he used to have. No people, no belongings, no even like sense of direction. So in that sense, right now he doesn't have anything, but there is something that exists that Kalon, and I don't think even Den knows this, there is something that exists that somebody that was very close to Kalon in a past life gave to him that he would have, he has hidden somewhere in Centromania. Yeah, it means a lot to him, and it's the reason that he hid it when he was when he had to leave his past life. So but that being said, he currently doesn't have anything on his person or carry anything around that is particularly valuable to him. There are just people that are valuable to him.
Dave doesn't want to tell me that because he knows I'll like use it against him or something, you know.
Yeah.
He's close to the chest. Then
I shall twist the knife.
I love giving the DM my knives.
I want
Go.
this. I want it.
This one's the sharpest. This one
Yeah.
has poison, so it'll actually kill
Stab.
me longer.
Stab me.
It's good to feel pain sometimes.
All right, Belle. How
that's-
about you? How about Axis?
Access's item is probably their holy symbol that they kind of carved themselves. I don't really have a picture or anything drawn up, but
Mhm.
I kind of thought it was like a little palm-sized stone that they kind of carved themselves. Their holy symbol for Hestia, which is like a very crude, like flame in like a square that's supposed to be a hearth.
Yeah, awesome.
But
yep,
that's
go
pretty much their more important thing.
ahead. Yeah. And Tumnus, how about Awen?
Practicality wise, Awen has had a diamond in his backpack for certain reasons that he bought from way back in campaign 1. That's a practicality thing. Personally, I've mentioned this very briefly. And I don't even think I've talked to you about the details, but
Mhm.
Awen does have like a kind of like a holster with a couple of books, kind of like, you know, yeah, kind of like Wild West. It's kind of like it's strapped almost like a satchel, and it kind of just like attaches to his hip. And it carries a multitude of books in there.
Yeah.
You know, like right now he went to the college before we went on our grand adventure to get he got a couple of books about the religion that Dave's character is worships, because he's trying to understand the details. But no matter what's in that holster, he usually holds about 3 books total. There's always one book that's there, and I know what's in there. I don't even think I've really talked to you about it, which we need to talk about it later. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
For now.
He's like, no.
Tune
Awesome.
in next episode to find out what's in there.
That's right. Okay. This is one actually for me. I'll do this one now. How does it feel revisiting Centromnia? How has it evolved since last campaign? And then obviously without spoilers. Well, of course. Centromnia is an ongoing, world. That the whole point is I wanted to start a world that I had kind of always envisioned, even when I was younger, and said, okay, let's do this and start this. And really my idea is to have every campaign or every adventure have players help to build it, which is exactly what's happening, right? So when, even in the first campaign, when everybody gave me their backstories and stuff, no matter how little or how much it was, I use that. Oh, that makes sense. Like and I have a map, and I don't think most people in chat have seen the realm map and the world map. Once I do more with that, I'll get that out there for everybody to see too. But like there's a whole mountain range called the Rakaposhi Mountains that Spike basically came up with the name. He's like, oh, my character's out from here. I'm like, perfect. Then the western part of the realm has a mountain range, right? And everybody here has come up with stuff that I'm like, great, we're going to drop this in here, and this is going to be expanded as part of the realm. And so, I've kind of had the idea for this world for a very long time. So I love it. I mean, I'm, even after this campaign, no matter how long it is, I'll continue to develop this. And who knows, at some point, and I've even talked to like Rev and a couple other people about it. It's like, maybe I'll actually publish a setting guide or something like that at some point, where if other people wanted to play in it, right? But no, it's fun. And happy to always go into more specifics or have a Centromnia lore Q&A at some point. But I think that does it for that one for right now. So, and obviously, if you guys here have any questions or whatever that I'm not going to give away spoilers, follow-ups or whatever, happy to do that too. Okay. Here's one. Okay, from Rogi. since the world, and this looks like it's for, let's see, Rec, Rev, Nat, Bell, and Dave. Since the world and setting were already established in another campaign, so Rec knows about it a little bit with Hoagie, but how easy or difficult has it been to get caught up on the setting of the world compared to other D&D campaigns, where you're essentially in on the ground level of how things are developing?
Pretty easy for me. So,
yeah, I mean, how about everybody else?
I like saw a little bit of campaign 1, but really not enough to really like have any idea. So, and I'm part of, I was part of like one D&D group like before this, and then I'm currently part of another one that's another homebrew, but it's nowhere near as large of the world. And speaking to Den previously, right before the campaign, like I remember you talked to me a bit about the world, and I won't say too much about what you told me, but I remember hearing stuff that I was like, oh wow, like damn, that's crazy. Like there's some stuff about this world that like I've never really like been able to sink my teeth into as a D&D player. Which like I think with some of the stuff we talked about with like Kalon's backstory, hopefully will come to fruition eventually. But also I just think that like, Den as a DM has been really like just accepting of like hearing us out and where we're coming from in terms of our backstories. Me and Den have literally spoken on the phone for hours, like just yapping about like stuff, and sometimes it's not even relevant, but a lot of the time it is, hopefully. But just about like, when I've wanted to air things out about my character, and this is definitely one of the most built out characters I've ever made in any D&D campaign for sure. And because of that, I think that like Den's been really great about just incorporating a lot of the ideas I have into the world. So as much as I had to learn a lot about Centromania, I feel like I also know so much about it because a lot of it kind of came from me and Den's conversations. So it's been really cool and like new and challenging in that respect, but also very, very natural.
Yeah, it's and that's like I said in the earlier question, that's part of what I want to do, right? You guys involved in helping to build out the world, and I think that's part of the fun. As much or as little as you want to be, right? It's it's whatever you want to contribute. That's all good. So
it's definitely great when a DM is like, here, sandbox, make. And you're like instantly like, oh yes, I'm gonna build this place, I'm gonna create these characters, and then he'll always chime in and be like, what if we add this into the sauce? And then you're like, perfection, a chef.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? It's more of a lot of people play D&D. Now, some people don't, right? They play D&D because they also want to be creative, like they want to create something around a character in a lot of ways. And it's like, I love that. And that can contribute to the world overall. And so, like you said, it's like, sandbox it out. What ideas do you have? Like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Now, again, it's like, I'll play a goalie a little bit. Like, all right, there's some things you don't know. So we got to keep it within these lines. But, it's for the most part, play within these lines. Go for it, right? So.
And don't look over in the dark corner.
Right,
we'll get to there later.
Right.
I'm very used to playing like I've not played a lot of like pre-written material or like official source books or anything. I started playing D&D in a homebrew world that my DM like wrote everything and created a new a planet and lore and gods and all this stuff. So I'm used to that, and I'm very comfortable with that, like just being like an exploration thing and not knowing anything and like learning stuff as you go. So there's no comfort in something taking place in the world of like Baldur's Gate because I like didn't know anything about Baldur. Well, I guess I do now that I've played like a video game about it, but I don't have any of that backstory. And I feel like that works really well for most like low level adventurers, because usually and Kat is obviously this way. They're usually someone who's like really lost and at a low point in their life and like looking for something, looking for a purpose, for information, for anything really. So it's like the perfect it's perfect to kind of like not have that background of things that are happening that my character wouldn't know about. Like there's no reason that Kat would have known about the Zenith if they existed on a continent different than, the
Right.
one that we're on, right? So it's kind of good. Like if she grew up on a farm that raised drakes and then ended up here and lost and hasn't left this like area of the world that much, she like wouldn't know all this like lore and history about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So you get to have like really organic reactions to things and be sort of like on the same level as like the audience who's also learning that information at the same time.
Yeah, it's and that's part of the challenge, right? The balance, because players can know some things sometimes, but their characters don't, and that's okay. Other times it's like, especially as a DM, you're like, ooh, I want the player to know, but I really don't want them to know, because then you'll get the genuine surprise, right? So it's a balance with that too. Anybody else? I didn't know. I know most people make comments, but cool. All right. Let's see. Next question. Oh, this is one for me. We'll do this one right now. Let's see. This is from Roki and Snowies. So, are there any other campaigns or DMs who you have seen that influence either a facet of the world or your own style of DMing, or who are your biggest influences as a DM? What made you want to DM TTRPGs, and when did you first start? Okay, so I've been playing D&D for a long ass time. I have, yeah, I'm older than I look, but I've been playing D&D like God. I've played first version, second version, third version, fourth. I've played, I think, all the versions or most of the versions. As far as influences, it's interesting because I kind of take influences from everywhere and everyone. Even just the players here, right? They'll come up with an idea and it'll be like, oh yeah, they'll say something, or I'll be like, that's really cool. I think I might work that in. I might be watching a piece of media or something, and I might work that into the world or into a campaign. Just, okay, that's a cool idea. What can I do to twist that around? As far as other DMs, I mean, you've got the obvious ones. It's funny because most people that you see that are the famous ones, I've probably been DMing longer than they have. It doesn't mean I'm better by any means. It just means that, it's just different, right? But yeah, I mean, you get like Matt Mercer and Brennan, and I think they're great. I mean, they're amazing, right? And look at them. They're freaking actors, and they're doing this crap on TV. Another one that, some people know about, some people don't, is Matt Colville, who is actually about the same age as I am. We started playing D&D about the same time. I agree with a lot of his kind of views on things. There are a few things I don't, that, I would probably do things a little differently, but yeah, I mean, that's, just as far as that goes. And there was the part of this that's influenced a facet of the world. Interestingly, Centromnia, the entire point of it, and, I know a lot of the players know this, but people in chat might not. The whole point of Centromnia is it is supposed to be the first world of all worlds in any lore or mythology or religion or anything you've ever heard of. That the first civilization of this world became the gods in any other story you've ever heard of or read or anything. Meaning what the freedom it gives me is I can pull from anything in the public domain, twist the shit out of it, and use it in my world. Like, what's the truth behind the stories you know and what you've read, right? So it gives me so much lore to play with. Belle mentioned Hestia before, right? Hestia, like, mythological god, right? Exactly. So we have that in the world. There will be others, right? So that's the kind of the idea with Centromnia, and I did that intentionally because I just liked the idea of kind of that. I think they call it an Ur-myth. It's like the source of all mythology, right? Where did it all come from? And that's supposed to be this world, right? So yeah, I hope that answers the question. All right. Oh, here we go. And this is for all the players. Who's your favorite NPC that you've come across so far in the campaign? Also, what is your favorite moment so far? Whoever wants to take it.
Easy. It's oh god, I can't remember his name because you sprung him on me, and it's been literally like months since session 2 and 3. But what was the bartender in that town?
Oh,
Like
Mughug.
yeah,
Oh.
Mughug. 1000% my favorite NPC, just as like a player, like dipping into and allowing like me to like really connect with and play with like a relationship from like a past life that like we're not going to explore, obviously, like as players. Like I'm not going to be able to like play as that unless that ever happens. So Mughug, 1000%, him pouring that like blood wine for sure.
Funny story about Mughug, and Brian, you might remember this, when we were in campaign 1 and we were in Zolgrad, Mike basically took it upon himself. This was episode 5, I remember, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been here," and I'm like, "Okay," and he went with it. "Oh yeah, I had this affair with Rue, and I knew that. Oh yeah, the bartender, and what, and he's like, Mughug, right?" And he looks, like live on stream, and I'm like, "Yeah," and I just went with it, right? So technically, Mike came up with the name Mughug, and I'm like, I'm taking the character for that's it. So that's where he came from.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Legendary.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
Yeah, mine's got to be Striker.
Striker.
Brad, just I love him.
Yeah. Also a campaign 1 veteran. Of course, he was down for the count in all of campaign 1, but
Eh.
All right.
For me, I would say probably the collector. I'm very curious about the collector.
Bro, why is he so creepy?
Yeah, real
He's a
though,
little creepy.
honestly.
He's kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Me too.
But he's also obviously very strong and powerful, and I think we're gonna end up getting something very useful out of him. Hopefully.
Or he's
But
gonna kill us.
I'm very
Yeah.
curious about him. He's super cool though. Favorite moment? There's a couple. It's tough to narrow it down to one.
I have guesses,
I would
but
say like the first, like at least the first couple that come to mind would be beginning of episode 2, a very like emotional exchange between Real Wes and Josie.
yeah.
Absorbing Lazarin was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that was like a random super cool moment when that orphanage lady got like ripped apart by that. Like,
That got
wild.
sucked.
that shit was cool.
That was
That was
wild.
really
That
cool.
was so
Like,
crazy.
I
Yeah.
will say,
Six
I
Flags
think
was
my
cool.
favorite moment's been Cal having a heart to heart with everybody in the burned down building.
That was pretty cool.
Mm.
All right.
Because it's like, oh, okay, now we're telling secrets. We've known each other for a year, but now we're telling secrets. Okay.
Oh right, it just felt right. I went with it.
It's the slow burn, right? Different kind of slow burn,
Literally.
but- yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think for me, my favorite NPC, I love Emma Nora. We haven't really seen her a lot in season 2, but she kind of feels like a mentor / a mom towards Awen, especially since they were both paragons and both scholars. So Awen just loves Emma Nora. Favorite moment, that is so hard. I feel like it's got to be a tie between what just happened in the last episode, because that's crazy, and Awen's passionate kiss with Les. Both on equal footing.
right. Well, that
those
was
would be-
because you mind controlled his ass or whatever, and he rolled a 0. Like I remember that he rolled and he had a -1 to the wisdom check, and he rolled a 1, so he technically rolled a 0.
He's the one. Okay, but so Awen technically started it, but Mike was the one that kept saying how beautiful Awen was. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for this.
Yeah, that was
So-
great.
Mike says that to everyone.
Wow, I see.
Well,
Well, so I'm not
speaking-
special.
Speaking of,
I should call him.
you're talking campaign 1. There was another one that I just remember Lolfrats in Zale going, all right, before you guys went to see her father, and she goes, all right, look, no one is allowed to fuck my father. It was like we all just
Forgot about
died
that.
laughing. Oh my God. It was great. All right. Anybody else?
I mean, Rec mentioned it, but I think my favorite NPC is Lazarin, and we didn't really talk to the real Lazarin, but I like, well, somewhat of a Souls game fan, if you don't know. So I love picking up little clues and piecing together the lore, and not really having the whole story, or not having the like getting a picture of someone through like little recordings or like notes or something in a video game is very appealing to me. And I would just love like a really smart curious person who flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And fucked up real bad, and really like the intentions of what they were doing got really muddled with the like drive for what their like their research or their plans were. So I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
My favorite moment is maybe the like, I don't know, it's the saga. It's like yeah, and I fucked your wife, whatever. I just think that was that whole episode, to be honest. The dinner party was just fun.
Well, and you
It's a
guys
fun
were
time.
so surprised when Mike hopped in. I just loved the look on
Yeah.
your faces when Mike just, and you guys are like, "Wah."
I'm just dying
We're
for
like,
like a
"Wait, what?"
fancy like a fancy ball. That's like dinner at someone's house is like micro level. Give me
Right.
like espionage where everyone's got to dress up fancy. Like that's
Give me a
that's peak
banquet.
D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a banquet. Give me
Yeah.
a masquerade.
Mm.
We had to do that in the first one, the first campaign. They went to this event where, you remember this, Tumnus, where you guys had to steal one of the stones from the basement of.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was
And it went perfectly smooth.
that was pretty funny.
Uh-huh.
You guys spent so
No
much time
issues.
looking at statues because you couldn't read the name of the king. And I'm like, dude, that was supposed to be like a 2-minute thing. You guys spent like 30 minutes on it. I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done
To
that.
be fair, though, that's like the definition of that's textbook D&D.
I know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm spilling water here. All right.
Oh no.
Anybody else or next question? All right, we'll go to the next question. What is the next question? Here we go. Let's do this. Come on. Send to display. Here we go. All right. From Rogi, what kind of creature do you think would be your character's absolute worst nightmare? I will be taking notes here, just so you know. Feel free to disregard if it's something you think would be important for character development later on. Does anyone want to answer this? You can.
I'm
Like
going
an
to-
actual creature in the monster book.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so.
I will say for West, not all, but most Fae are gonna make him a little uneasy.
Yeah, I was kind of probably gonna say the same thing for Access, like doppelgangers or a false Hydra. Like those two, though anything that's like
Termites. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
actually a fire elemental. Go after West.
Have a little fire, Scarecrow. All right.
Yeah, Cat's really not a fan of fire, if you haven't noticed
Yeah.
by some of her reactions to things. She really doesn't like it. Smoke, fire, obscuring the vision, like being blinded in that last fight,
Oh,
really
no.
upsetting. Really upsetting to her. Especially, I mean, just like functionally as a ranger too.
Yeah.
It's like really can't shoot. Can't shoot a bow when you're like blinded. But yeah. Smoke and fire are big triggers, we'll say. So maybe a dragon? I don't know.
Interesting.
All right.
Interesting.
Noted.
I think.
Although the dragons are similar to the drake, so it's kind of
I would-
different. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was gonna say.
It's conflicted emotions.
Yeah.
I think for Awen, like it's kind of hard because Awen is very fascinated with like magical creatures, but I do think he doesn't really like undead. Kind of like, harping back to I believe wasn't it skeletons that we were fighting when Awen did the thunder wave that hit Hoagie. So like he doesn't really like undead, skeletons, zombies, sort of stuff like that. So
Yeah. And then later you guys met Jimmy and Timmy.
I did, yeah.
Cool.
So maybe he's a little bit more understanding with. Nah, he still doesn't like it.
Right. Anybody else?
You can be more understanding, and it can still creep you out.
Yeah, like a distant appreciation, but from like a very far distance.
It's like, get out the telescope.
Cool. All right. Go ahead.
I mean, Kalon like has spent the majority. I mean, I kind of like talked about this a little bit so far, but I'm not going to divulge too much information about it. But specifically, Kalon is not. He's not scared. It's not a scared thing because he's probably fought and killed a fair few of them in his time on purpose. But it would be drakes and dragons.
Right. Yeah, that should prove interesting.
Yeah, that's another thing that Cat's gonna.
Yeah, he's been quite quiet so far about it.
Yeah.
There was a moment when he got kind of drunk on blood wine where he kind of shared a grimace accidentally.
All right. Anybody else, or is that it for that one?
Josie.
Well, based on okay, I mean, honestly, based on her past, I think are any.
You got to get right up on it, like this.
Eat the mic.
That's right.
Yeah, no, literally. Basically on her, based on her past experiences, I would just say that people have scared her more than any has.
Yeah, makes sense. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Uh-oh.
Yeah, people are terrifying.
Yeah, so true.
You want me to go out and socialize? The fuck's wrong with you?
All right.
I love about this how many things we've accidentally done together. By the way, too, like me and Dave talked about this like a little bit when we were at the bar in New York. That like was not planned. That like my backstory had to do with drakes, and that his like the like order that he came from like hunted and killed like drakes and dragons. Like not related at all, but perfect point of like love when that happens accidentally. Like no one even planned for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was like, I mean, not to give anything away, but in the last episode, there was a clue as to a little bit, like, I'm not going to give anything away, but there's something in the last episode which kind of hints towards a bit of knowledge about the Zenith that even Kalon might not know. So.
Oh yeah. No, what did I miss?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. All right. The next one looks like another one for me. From two people. From Rogie and from Belle. If you were to be dropped into this campaign as a player, what kind of character do you think you'd make with this group? Or if you were to make a DM PC, what kind of character would you like to make in your world? Interestingly enough, a lot of the NPCs I kind of look at as like they're my characters. Like, so I kind of have them all. In fact, let's see, the missing king of the realm, Novum Astoria, is actually my character from when I was a kid. So technically, I have a character in this world. Yeah, it's there's like a gnat. Oh.
That's cute.
Well, it is, it's funny. And actually, the Regent Lord Stelladak, who is still there and everything, was my best friend's character. Like, the idea is it's their backstories in this world are our stories that we had when we were kids in their world. They were two kings and they stumbled through a portal like into this world, couldn't find their way back, and established Nova Mystoria. The new
What? It's like Narnia.
It's new mystery
Yeah.
and stories, Nova Mystoria, right? So, but yeah, actually, well, and I love the Chronicles of Narnia, so it's like, yeah, it's kind of that type of thing. So yeah, my character was Xeon and his was Stelladak, and so I gave him first names and all this type of thing. So, but yeah, so that's there. Another one of my characters, actually, I expanded the character itself as an NPC way more than I did as a character, was Novris. Like, the basis of that is a PC that I rolled up and I had and used. So yeah, I mean, and there's a number of them that I think are would be cool that way. So, but yeah, beyond that, it's hard to judge because I know so much about the world that I wouldn't know as a player. So, it's hard to judge. But okay, let's see. Next one. All right. This is for everybody. Will you be trusting any more old people given the horrific track record so far with them?
Bro, Axis is so pissed that they did not do like their fucking vision on this sussy ass old lady.
Sussy ass.
Right, she's just sitting there in the middle of the road being like, oh, the car, oh. Stupid.
I don't even trust old people IRL. I don't trust them in D&D either.
Right.
You expect me to trust them in a fantasy game?
Listen, you
Hell
old
no.
fuckers. Yeah.
I worked at a drive-through for long enough to not enjoy the presence of old people.
Yep.
So,
True.
is everybody pretty much agreed?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
They're on the list.
All right.
They're on the list.
I don't know, actually. I think, like, as a player, like, I'm sus of what you are bringing to the table with old people then. But I think Kalon I don't think he gives a shit.
I mean, you should be sus of anything I bring to the table in the campaign. I mean, old or young
Old
at that
people
point, right?
specifically, Dan. Okay, stop
you know.
that. You're trying to mask the old people, okay, and amongst everything. It's old people specifically. Okay?
That's right. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. Now, here's a good one. What is your character's favorite meal and drink combo?
Well, Wes doesn't need to eat, drink, breathe, or sleep. So,
Did he though? At one point?
at one point, Wesley was a sucker for a nice sweet like pastry or dessert cake,
Aren't we all?
and he was eating good. He had access to some pretty good food before, back when he could eat.
No.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun.
I'm gonna say like a nice hearty, like a shepherd's pie vibe. And drink wise, like mead.
Mm.
Love some mead. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Cool.
Let's go. I think, like, Kalon, like, I think, again, not giving anything away, but it would be something very simple. It would have been something that he would have shared with certain people in his past. He would have, like, had, like, the opportunity to, like, feast and, like, eat incredibly well, but I think he will specifically, like, probably something just like, some simple, like meat and, like, charred, like, like a flatbread or something, and, like, some, like, I don't know, some, like, side vegetable or something. You know what I mean? Something very simple that reminds him of, like, happier times,
Cool. Anybody else?
I feel like I feel like Awen would like a nice smoked whiskey and then a very intricate salad, like a spinach and arugula with a nice balsamic vinaigrette on top.
Nice.
That'd be
With
lovely.
some strawberries.
Oh my gosh, yes. That'd be so good.
Actually,
So good.
that does sound good. Like,
That might be
good
Thomas
salad,
speaking.
Come on, man. I'd need a beef sandwich on the side, but that's beside the point.
I think it's well established that Axus's favorite drink is water. I think the best thing they ever ate, it's tied between two different types of cakes. There's like a strawberry cream one, and then another one was a lemon poppy seed with candied pears on top.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Nice.
lemon poppy.
Candied pears.
As for food, they're just like just anything that's not spicy.
Cool. All right. Anybody else?
Josie.
Probably would like some red meat, as rare as socially acceptably possible. Top sided with like something strong. She's been really liking whatever. We need a name for that, like really strong spicy drink we've been drinking. We need to get a name for that.
Get on it,
But
Dan.
something like that. Like blood
Zoltrak.
wine.
We'll
she
figure
also
something out.
likes spicy food because rare meat, spicy food. She's a psychopath.
Yeah. Nice.
Works.
All right. We're doing this one next. It's from Belle.
Also, can I
Go ahead.
add on to Wes's? When I say Wes likes like sweets, I mean Wes liked. I mean, this guy was eating nice stuff, but he also likes like some wild berries as well.
Cool.
Boy out
Interesting.
there picking raspberries.
Interesting.
Okay. So
Yeah, so Dan, what the fuck?
Belle says, "What the fuck is up with the last scene in the desecrated temple? What do you
fuck is
mean
up
we
with that,
see
man?"
ourselves, but not
I will
really
say
ourselves?"
I didn't say this earlier because like I was like I didn't want to spend too much time.
Mhm.
That last scene was my favorite part of the entire campaign. Just
It
with
was
the
so
writing,
good.
the writing,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like just after the fucking battle, it was honestly one of the better D&D moments I've ever like. It just gave. I was like, this is sick.
I
It's
appreciate
such
that.
a mind fuck.
It was so good,
Yeah,
Dan.
absolute cinema.
Respect in chat for Dan.
Yeah, I-
And even the setup was so good. Like learning a little bit of like this unknown area, and then you learn like there was a paragon that they used to worship here, and then he like kind of turned evil, or kind of like from their point of view he like kind of turned or something, and then it leads to
Got
this
too much
huge
power and had to be
culmination.
killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It leads to this huge throne room or whatever, like sacrificial altar where there was obviously a fight or a struggle. And yeah, it led to that huge fight, which was super epic, to like the culmination of that ending. It was so
Yeah.
good. That whole episode altogether was good, but the ending was so good.
Well, and that was kind of the point with it, right? I mean, leading up, and here's the mystery with it, right? So obviously you discovered a bunch of stuff in there. The whole thing that Novris created the lock that you guys were able to unlock.
Yeah, that's a little fucked.
Right? And it was 500, 600, 800 years ago that this happened.
Yeah.
And then
So it's like the question of, did he jump years in the past? Did he jump currently? Is that where he's at currently? Is this
Well, that's the
happening in
thing,
real time for him?
Yeah, I've thought about this at length because he also just the fact that like 100 years prior to us arriving in the tavern, like came back. Like this guy is like a very experienced time traveler. Like he knows a lot about us, like more than we even know, like have shared with one another. So like I think is incredibly well prepared to like sort of pull something like this off.
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously there's some intentional mystery there. But then the vision itself, that was kind of the point, is when you fought everything in there, it was they were Zenith warriors along the wall, right? That you saw that. And obviously you saw maybe they were decayed a bit, but you saw the prophet laying there, and it had, Awen's markings, but did it look like Awen? You didn't make that connection. And even the guy with the sword, did it look like Kalon? Not necessarily, but then you see this vision. So is that the future or the past, or what is it?
And it's also like Novarus. Why Novarus had to be the one that sealed it? An outsider for a very exclusive, closed-in cult gets an outsider to close this thing? What the fuck's going on there?
Well, I think also yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll shut up.
Go ahead.
I want to save it. I want to save the campaign.
Yeah.
Save
No,
for the
that's cool.
session, dude. I don't want to start talking about it. That's why I'm saying let's get that session going.
Well, I'm debating
Yeah.
because I showed, obviously you guys have seen the little video of the end of that I put together. I'm debating, whether I show it tonight or whether I just put it out there and maybe show it at the beginning of the next episode or something. But I think people will enjoy that too because I enhanced it a little bit.
So good.
That was so nice.
Cool.
I literally showed so many people the end of that campaign. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
Look at this. Watch this. I was like, go to this timestamp on this VOD and watch this.
Well, I'm glad everybody
yeah.
enjoyed it. I mean, it was like, I knew it would be,
good.
especially after a tough fight, right? I mean, you guys, how many times? I mean, literally 4 of you at one point were
just like,
We're out.
right, almost
Dude,
dead.
I couldn't
You
get a
know,
break.
Yeah.
so it was a well-earned victory, right? And it's like you all survived, right?
I actually have a question,
Sure.
and this is like behind the curtain, and this is a hypothetical what if.
Yeah.
Because there came a point where I accepted that Awen might actually die, and it was when Josie ran up, and I believe it was Josie, and I was on the ground, and who else was on the ground right next to me?
It was Cat.
Cat.
It was
It's me.
Cat,
Yeah, it's me.
and Josie was and it was like, oh, who am I going to heal? And I was like, who are you going to heal? Your lifelong best friend or someone you met like a few days ago? And you're like, oh, well, now you put it that way, I'm not healing you. And I was like, I was sitting here and I wasn't even offended. I was like, that makes complete sense character wise. And it was at that point I was like, Awen might die. So my question for you was like, would you have had to quickly change the scene up if Awen would have died there?
Not necessarily. It just
Okay.
depends. I mean,
You don't have to tell me
it's
details.
so there's one thing, and I know that I've told some of you, I don't know if, how much we discussed it, because we haven't had to do it yet, knock on wood. But, when a character dies in a campaign that I'm running,
Mhm.
I like to talk to the player afterwards and go, what do you want to do? In other words,
Mm.
is there, I mean, look, it's in a fantasy world. Death is not necessarily permanent. Doesn't mean it's easy to come back from, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily permanent. Or maybe it is, I mean, maybe you come back and you're changed or whatever. There's a lot of options that can happen with a character. And so, if that happens, expect a conversation if any of your characters die, and I'll be like, all right, what do you want to do? Because
What are we doing here?
yeah, I mean, imagine the idea, and I know they've done this in Critical Role and stuff like that too. A character dies, it's like, well, maybe the rest of the party goes on a side mission to get them back from hell or whatever the heck they're doing. I mean, it's like that type of a thing. So, those make for amazing and interesting campaigns. But then again, maybe there's somebody who's just like, you know what? Let's just let that character be for now. I'll roll a new one or whatever, right? So
Because sometimes it feels right.
that's it. But yeah,
Yeah.
for the vision, I can make anything out of anything pretty much. So
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, there's so many twists and things that we could do with stuff. So
Yeah.
Um,
I was just more interested. Like I was not expecting that. Like that's how it was going to end. Like I wasn't expecting that, but there was part of me that was like, this might be where Awen is just like the end, and he doesn't get like the resolution that he wanted. And I was fine with that. It was going to be interesting because I thought that there was because you did that crazy shock wave and everything like that in the first round, so I thought it was going to be just like Awen gets hit with the shock wave, and that's like 2 death saves right there, and then I roll like something bad.
yeah.
But it was crazy.
I could
It was
have
good.
I could have died with a nat 1.
That's also true. You could have died too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were real close.
'Cause
And I was like,
one-
oh god.
I was one failed save, so that like a nat 1 would
Oh,
have killed me. But
It was scary.
scary. I love
That-
it.
It was like also like everyone was dropping around, but like I think for Kalon it was like this moment where there was this like in he's like been raised to know that like these paragons are like prophets, right? So you got to think like in our world, you got to think like, well, within like for instance like Christianity, for example, you got to think like your Moses, for example. You got to think like these people that are like known to be like, oh, you're like the fucking guy that
Right.
did the thing, and like
The guy.
yeah, and so like all of his friends are dropping around. He's got this cursed blade, but like just for flavor, I was like, I'm just gonna stand and bang with this guy. I'm just gonna stand and just like start slamming. Like we were just like going crazy in the middle, and like the lay on hands, and like I was just like, it was just crazy. It was like such a wild fight and experience just as a player. It was so good.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting too because the choice you made to use the weapon, I thought that was an interesting one. So I was wondering, right?
I'm excited to see what happens there.
I put it out there.
Well, it was like a mixture. It was a mixture of me wanting to use it, and also like there was a little metagamey in the sense that like everyone was dying, and I was like, maybe like this fucking sword is the key. Like maybe I need to use it because it's like calling to me, and it's like calling my name, and like I know that these swords are meant for for like. Well, I can't. I digress.
Well, and that's just it, right? Because I don't like, there's a fine line between railroading and guiding, right? And putting things in front of, like, I mean, look, any adventure you have is not going to be completely just do whatever the hell you want, right? I mean, there's a story, you kind of follow what's happening in the world, but within the guidelines, you have choices. And so I just like putting stuff there and seeing like what choice will you make. It's like with the whole Lazarin merging with their consciousness, right? You didn't have to do it. Hell, your compatriots were fighting against Wes doing it, right? But he chose to do it, and it's the same thing with the sword. So, cool. All right. So, let's see. Next question. You know what? Here's one that we'll do. That was for me. What goes into DM session prep for you from Snow? That I probably do way too much prep than most people, and way more than most people, right? I end up writing a bunch of stuff. I literally, just because my mind likes the prettiness of it, I will take an entire thing that I've written and I will dump it into the home brewery website, and make it look like an official D&D book, and then cut like screenshots of that out and put it in my notes thing so that it looks like I have chunks of a real D&D book in front of me. It just makes it cleaner too. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the prep is mostly, I like to put arcs together. Like, here's the story, here's the job, here's the whatever we're going through in the next amount of time. And however many episodes that takes, that's what it takes, right? So that's why, like what we've done here lately is we'll have 2, 3, 4 episodes because I have enough stuff to fill that, right? And then it's like, okay, we're to the end of that or almost to the end of it. So give me a few weeks to prep the next piece, right? But yeah, it's, making maps. I mean, it's all that typical stuff. But a lot of it is just finalizing the details of a story. And that's based on what happened in the previous arc or the previous section, right? So that's, that's basic session prep for me. So hope that answers it. All right, let's see. Oh, here's one. If you all were in a band, what kind of music do you think you would play? Who would play what role in the band? So I assume you mean the characters, right?
Wes is the drummer for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Got to keep time.
That's right.
This is true.
That's cheesy.
Who's the singer?
I feel
I feel like it's a tie between Josie and Kat.
No.
yeah.
No.
I feel like
Josie
Kat's
can't
the
sing.
I feel like Kat's the bassist. Like just like
Probably the bass. Yeah, probably something more like a bassist, because she's got a negative charisma stat, and that just screams bassist to me. Sorry,
I mean,
but that feels
honestly,
like she can't be the singer. She can't be the front man of like a band because she's got negative charisma.
Well, yeah, that'd be interesting to hear the accent being sung too, like the Jersey / Long Island accent or whatever you've got going there.
Yeah, the, like New York.
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like I feel like a punk rocky vibe, I guess. It's Gravehand.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a punk rock, old school dad rock.
Or punk metal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, maybe.
I see people in the chat saying Awen is the lead singer. I feel like Awen would be the last thing Awen would want. Awen doesn't want to be the center of attention. But
no.
here's
my opinion on Awen. I think Awen would be the keyboard and synth player.
That's what I was literally thinking.
I was thinking that. Or I was thinking like yellow card, like electric violin.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I was
Like
thinking
in a pop
almost
punk
like
band?
a harp too.
Oh, a harp? That would be kind of cool.
Josie canonically knows how to play a fiddle, so I was also going to say electric violin for her.
Oh my god.
honestly, I will say, and I can't give too much away about this, but Kalon's had his fair share leading and has very high charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also don't think he would be the most like pretty boy front man. He'd be quite
He's our divorced dad rock singer.
We also
Right.
need an electric guitar player. I could see Kalon rip
maybe up front with like rhythm guitar and like a lead
ripping
singer.
Awesome. All right, we're about an hour and a half into this. We had a little bit of hang-ups at the beginning. Anybody, I could use a quick break, maybe 5 minutes. We'll do a co-on break. We'll come back. We'll do some more questions. Sound good? All right, everybody in chat, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. See you then.
Oh, I see a wiggly butt.
And we are back.
Yep.
Woohoo. I said it'd only be about 5 minutes, but I don't know. Who knows? Could have been longer than that. Okay. I think we covered the band question. Unless you guys had any more, I think you didn't have it. You were discussing it on break, so that's answered. All right. So let's see. Next one here. Oh, this is for everybody too. Okay. From Anonymous, if the world got flipped from high fantasy to a modern setting, how do you think that would affect your character's fashion? Would they dress alternative, preppy, minimalist, punk? Kind of goes with the last one a little bit.
Well, Wes would probably be doing that like street style where people were like the face mask for style and covering as much as possible. I'm not sure a Pinocchio ass walking around New York is gonna go over too well.
It's makeup.
Maybe in LA, but yeah, New York, maybe not. All right. How about everybody else?
Doing theater. God, leave me alone. I feel like Axis would just be pastel punk.
Of course, if you think it'll give too much away about your character, you don't have to answer, right?
feel like a snooty, preppy hipster would be Awen.
Yeah.
Going to
Oh,
coffee
God,
shops,
2000
listen to Bon
two-
Iver.
2012 hipster.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
without the fedora though.
Or
I think even Awen would know no fedora.
I could see Awen being a little bit out of time. Maybe as
Yeah,
a college
100%.
professor, almost with the wool coat, maybe dressed almost like he's from like
Yeah.
the 40s or something.
Yeah,
With the glasses, you know, just
100%.
drinking his coffee.
He's got a tweed suit.
Right.
I think like Kalon would like be quite like minimalistic, like kind of like plaid shirt, like or like hoodie with like a sort of denim jacket day to day. But then like when he goes to like an event,
Mhm.
he can like ball out. Like he has the capability of like looking way better than he does day to day.
Like he's got a tailored suit that he pulls out.
Yeah,
at
like he has
all the right
probably like a
occasions.
few. He has a few suits in the wardrobe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
He
think
doesn't.
Cat
He
is
doesn't.
like
He doesn't do.
Cat. It's definitely like all black, but I think it's like in the realm of like different flavors of like gothy clothing. It's like Western goth. So there's probably some sort of like sort of like shirt with like the fringe on it or something, like almost like goth horse girl.
Oh my god!
Goth
Yes.
horse
No?
girl.
Except
That's the
the
vibe.
horse is the Drake.
Amazing.
Except the horse is the Drake. Yeah.
Fucking, I love it.
That's awesome. Oh my god.
Definitely also goth girl, black. Like she probably would look the same.
Yeah, I can see that. Josie's like, what?
Right. She'd probably just dress very similar.
Right. That's awesome. Oh. Okay, this is a funny one. This is to me. After getting characters' backstories, do you ever have mental ships? Like knowing more about the characters before the campaign starts. Do you ever have your own personal idea of, oh, these characters would fit together? I mean, maybe, but I like to spoil that stuff. I mean, like, it's more like oh yeah, I could see where these two might try to, get because of this or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, let's see what we can do with their backstories to mess with that. Right. That would be more about it. I mean, I don't know. I'm a strong believer in like, people do what they want, right? I mean, it's like, and I'm there for it. So I think of that stuff, but I don't really have like, ooh, I think it'd be great if these two got to get like, whatever, Hey, y'all want to have an off-stream orgy with your characters or something? Go for it. We're probably not gonna put that on stream because, hey, it's, but
We're gonna
whatever.
fade to black.
Yeah, last night was fun, wasn't it? Yes, it was, and we'll leave that right there, folks. But hey, whatever. So I don't know. I guess the real question is, I would actually pose this. Now, you don't know each other's backstories necessarily, but before a campaign, would any of the players think, oh, yeah, I kind of see a little bit about their character, maybe my character and their character, or these two characters would be an item or something like that? Like, did you go in assuming any of that?
From just getting character art, absolutely not.
Well, right.
Yeah, I think when
I was like,
what I see mostly
this
is
is
people
so
will be
hard.
like, my character's open to a relationship, but
Yeah.
yeah.
not trying to like plan something with another character beforehand.
I think it's funny. That's probably a good way to put what I was saying too. It's like I sure, go for it. Like, whatever happens between you guys, I think that's cool. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I saw Josie's art and I was like, I personally would like to romance with her,
Right.
but-
Love to talk to her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No plans, but I do love doing a little romance in D&D. So it's always fun.
Yeah. Especially when you
Always
can.
fun because most of the time you don't think about them. And
Yeah.
then you're just
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
we're just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember literally like this was like months ago now, but like Nat messaged me on Discord and was like, hey, like, because obviously things like people started like shipping and like things started getting like jokes started getting made. And I was like, I think this is happening, but like we hadn't said anything. And then Nat was like, hey, do you like feel like this is something you want? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. This is like gold for like campaign lore. Like, absolutely we should. So like, yeah, it's like, I think it's, but like I went into it like completely, like I've literally never romanced another player's character in any campaign. And I've been playing for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is, yeah, very new to me.
I'm looking at chat and like Jane right there from the beginning. I did. Yeah. Shipped since day one. I'm like, you know what? I think it was Jane who was mentally sending out the waves that was causing that to happen. Right.
Jane saw it before either of us did.
Right.
Yeah. My whole thing is just like, I just want to make sure I just messaged Dave because I was like, oh, are you comfortable? Like, are you comfortable with this? And are we going to do this? Because if not, like, you could steer it away from that if players weren't comfortable. So we're like, hell yeah, make it happen.
Yeah. Well, and that's the key, right?
Make the Barbies kiss.
Yeah, yeah.
Make my dolls kiss.
Yeah.
I will say, going into the campaign, like, yeah, there were conversations like, oh, like, would your character be open like romance? Like, yeah, but like nothing was set in stone. But I will say, episode 1, when like that little moment where Axe was like, I'm picking Josie up and I'm running. I think since then, Rev was like, yeah, I want this to happen. So that's kind of where I was at.
It's doing the bar scene too, where it was like literally this line of "I'll be your shield," and then like afterwards, I was like, we leave the scene, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, was that flirty? That was flirty. Why was that flirty? What the fuck is going on here?
That was flirty. Yeah,
I'll
so
be your shield, baby.
That's what me wanting that to happen. But yeah.
That's another single, guys. I'll
Right.
be your shield.
I can kiss away the pain.
Right. Oh man. Okay. So here's one. Let's do this. This is for everybody, all the players. What are some of the most prominent influences on your character's personality, the ones you feel comfortable sharing at least? How much would you say you've shaped them from in-game interactions versus how much you had them established prior to bringing them to the table? It's from Snow.
I think for Awen, I made a mention for it previously, and Den and I talked about it before. A lot of Awen's like, I would say the intro to that, like to the question of what are some of the prominent influences on your character's personalities? I'm assuming the question is like outside influences, like what have I taken from outside influences and created Awen from?
That's my assumption
Am
when I
I
read
reading
this. But
okay. I've told Den this, like, I really love I love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit. I love the idea of a hobbit living his normal life, and then something just falls into his lap and it forces him to make a change. In the idea of Bilbo Baggins and the idea of Frodo. And that's kind of the inspiration towards Awen, is he was happy where he was and then literally woke up and was forced into this new thing of joining the Mistaran Rangers. But just like Bilbo, he's having these struggles of like, I don't want to go into that. Like I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with the life I have. I'm happy, almost like I'm happy with the comfortability of normalcy. And so,
you've just totally thrown me here. You will Mr. Tumnus like the Hobbit? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's awesome though.
Whoever could have perceived
Right.
this?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
No, that's awesome though.
Yeah. So and then like I've said, the in-game interactions, specifically with the Gravehand Syndicate, is really going to be the deciding factor of like, does he continue on with the hero's journey, like in The
Mhm.
Hobbit, like Bilbo, where he decides to go to something new, something to live into the grandeur that was kind of bestowed upon him, or will he continue to fight against it?
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Who else?
A big influence for me when I was creating it, and this is like I when I think Rec was like, oh, like, do you want to like be part of this D&D campaign? And I was like, oh, 1000%, like, I'm all very stupid, dude. But but I was like, yeah, 1000%. And literally, I think I'd been traveling, and like on the flight, I'd watched Gladiator, the first Gladiator.
Oh, nice.
And I've seen it like a million times. Like, it's a great movie, obviously. But like, I was thinking about like Maximus Decimus Meridius and like the idea of this like general who like falls upon like hard times, but like is then cast out and is torn between like what is right in his honor and what is easy. And so a lot of like what I built Kalon around is around Maximus and around like that idea of like being sort of raised in a certain environment and then having to abandon that and realizing that it's toxic and realizing that it's not like right, but also realizing that you are right and you are honorable. So there must be something to it that was good, and trying to find that balance. And so that was literally the entire influence for Kalon and the Zenith was Maximus and Rome.
I love that.
And
That's cool.
yeah. And then like I think as I've played, it's all like, you honestly, Dan, you've kind of influenced a lot, like in our conversations and what you've brought to the table and how you've guided and the sort of plot that you've taken us on. Like that's kind of, and again, I'll go back to saying it because again, I can't shut up about it. The last episode was like and the last two episodes really, from like going on this whole journey with the collector, especially after the ceremonial weapon, it's definitely allowed me to play into more of the elements of Kalon's lore that have been more just like lore and not actionable substance that I can like play with as a player. So that's been like the biggest influence in the world.
Yeah. Cool. Who else?
Wes doesn't have any sort of. I actually really struggled coming up with Wes. Honestly, the main thing was I felt like I played such a basic character in campaign 1 because I played D&D before. So I was like Goliath Barbarian, who just basically was like Grog, which I didn't even know Grog existed at that time. It was like, oh yeah, it was a very simple character. There wasn't really much to it. So I was like, I want to play something just totally out of left field, right? So I went from just big Goliath Barbarian boy, and I was like, let me do a small wooden child who had their soul stolen, who's a time sorcerer. Like, let's just get weird with it. And I really had no idea how I wanted to play him, like at all, especially considering episode 1. So I feel like Wes is at this point still kind of learning just like how he wants to approach the world with everything that's happened to him. He does have some more like extensive goals in the future, but also like his relationship with Josie has definitely shaped a lot of how he is as an individual too. But as far as like outside influences, not really. I didn't watch Pinocchio and be like, yeah, fuck it. Like,
Write that down. Write that down.
Now-
That fucking guy right there.
It's funny, Brian, you mentioned you played with Hoagie, right? It was a simple character. But I will say, you took that simple character and made him hilarious. And it was like, you know, you made Hoagie in a lot of ways one of the main comic reliefs of the campaign. I mean, I thought it was was like the perfect way to play that character. I really think that. I mean,
I remember when we did session 0, I tried to do like a deep voice, and I was like, would it be just funny if I did like a Mickey Mouse voice instead? Like,
and I would say on top of that, like, I think with D&D, you have like the memorable like big moments.
Yeah.
You know, Wes blowing up, this whole last thing. But to me, like, you know, some of the most memorable things I have, like in my brain from campaign 1, was just talking about Hoagie not having any testicles, and that being just like deep lore.
it was like his whole backstory.
That's like his whole backstory. And then Jimmy and like there's so much just fun, like it's so funny, and people will go back and just be like, oh man, that was such a great time. So it's like, it's so great. It's fun to have the characters who are like, oh, deep backstory, very serious, you know, very, you know, theatrical, but sometimes it's just funny to have that just, you know, comic relief character like Den was saying.
Yeah.
So I thought you killed it with your first character, and Wes is also crazy cool too.
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess when I say like simple, I mean, it was just every turn was like, I hit and then I hit. That's, you know, like, and even out of combat, there wasn't like a whole lot that I was doing, where Wes is much more intricate, even though I'm mostly just e-blasting right now. Like,
Yeah, well, Wes now
Wes
is
has
like,
a lot of
I
tricks
hit
up his
and you're
sleeves.
dead.
Like, Wes
find
has a
though
lot of,
that
there's a lot of
D&D
things that I
though,
can
like,
do, and there's a lot
there's
of
so
stuff I
much
can do out of
more-
combat.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's so much
you're good.
more though than like just abilities, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of
Yeah.
D&D is like the role playing and what you bring to the table, and like and the backstory. And so like with you, it's like such a it's such a query. You're just like, what? Like you have to remember, like, we spent a year with someone that was not you. So like we're coming at it from like, what? Like, you just popped out of a fucking amulet one day, and like now we are like, oh, so you're you? Like, wait, so who was that? Like, what? And now we're learning who you are. You keep stopping time and like doing things. And like my favorite part, like from you as a like just in anything, like, and bearing in mind you've literally almost one shot a radiant owlbear zombie thing, like that should not have been one shot. When you ran, when the sniper archer was on the roof, when we were back in the city, and you ran up to Josie and went, hold this, and just like, you were so low on health, and you just were like in it. And I was like, dude, imagine that. Like, imagine that as like just seeing that, like, especially from Kalon's perspective, this person that's like the vanguard on a field. Like, he stands at the front of combat, he doesn't run away, and then but like not in the sense like you ran away, but just in the sense that you can do that. Like, how do you do that? Wow, what the fuck is that? Like, it's such an interesting like character, and I think that even though like you're still just e-blasting, whatever, like, you're doing so much more than just that adds depth, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anybody else? As the microphone swings by, Rev's got something to say.
The mic's getting flown in.
That's
No,
right.
Get in there.
He's just shoving the microphone in my face.
That's right. Hey, whoa, hey, keep that off stream, all right?
I mean, personality wise, like visual wise, her influences, like I just basically took what I thought looked like. I knew I wanted to play a tiefling. I knew I wanted to play a rogue. And I know her like subclass got switched last minute. Like, I decided I wanted to play a grim surgeon instead of an assassin. And so like just things like that, like just gathering, like as an artist, gathering references I thought were cool, and just like making up the art for that is kind of like how I pulled like her physical appearance. And then as for personality, I knew I really wanted to play off kind of like that mad scientist vibe. I definitely downplay her crazy a lot, but I know I definitely like one of her biggest influences for her personality. I don't know if anyone's seen like Ginny and Georgia, and I've talked about it. Like Georgia, like
yes.
Georgia Miller from Ginny and Georgia is definitely like her biggest. Like, I like has inspired her personality the most. And then mixed with like a little bit like And like I say this all the time, but she's like very intelligent. Like her intelligence score is 18, so I like to play up that she is like or smart. Like she doesn't need to like she's a great memory. So a little bit of like that Caleb Widowgast and like Doctor
Mm.
Strange, a little bit kind of. I try to rope that into her, like building her personality as well.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh boy.
What's that supposed to mean?
What's that supposed to mean?
What's that supposed to mean?
What do you
I
mean,
want
just
answers.
Speaking
I need
okay,
explanation.
yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Caleb, though, I don't go in like I didn't go in with any specific influence, and I sort of let the character like form. A lot of the time, I let the character form or change as I'm playing it. You sort of find that personality as you go. Like I always found it really hard to pick an alignment when you're like making a character sheet. I feel like I have to be in the situation as that character, and I just put myself in there and I start thinking as them, and then eventually I'm like, oh, they
Yeah.
are actually chaotic neutral or lawful good or whatever, and that sort of comes out as I'm playing, and I just try to find as many opportunities as possible to like initiate little role play moments or character moments or add little bits of flavor wherever I can. And my biggest influence as like a player is Liam O'Brien. So it's like
Oh,
So
like
good.
Cat's not directly inspired by any of his characters per se, but I tend to play I tend to just play the way that he plays, maybe the closest as like an influence. So that's always like going out of my way to be like, oh, my character's doing this now when there's not like there's no prompt for it. Is like always being like, oh, actually, before we go to bed, I'm gonna go approach this person, have a conversation,
Yeah.
and adding those little details in. As far as Kat as a character, though, I really like that she's like. I think the thing I like about her is that like often low charisma can come off as like really quiet
Mhm.
and shy, but I think Kat's not necessarily shy. She's just very she's very like she'll just say shit and mess up, and then it's really awkward rather than her like trying to not say stuff because she has low charisma and is shy.
Right.
So she'll put herself out there and then she'll be like, fuck, I didn't shit. And I like a character that's like so very socially clumsy, but then at the same time is just like fucking perfect at what she does in terms of like the like ranger abilities, and like she obviously knows everything about drakes and how to deal with Gia, and like she has no problems communicating with Gia. Like they can't even speak the same language and she can communicate with Gia, but she's very clumsy when it comes to like the other half of things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it's like you want me to talk to mortals? What's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah.
Humanoids?
say-
Nah, fuck that.
I'd say one quick thing, just piggybacking, because I'm also a huge Liam O'Brien fan, and every character he's made in Critical Role, I've been a huge fan of. That's Caleb was a big inspiration towards how I describe Awen, how he casts spells, because I loved how he like with Caleb, he would look at what the stuff he had to use for the spells and he would detail it. And I remember one time like Sam was like making fun of Liam for it and was like, I'm gonna do this, that, or whatever. And then Liam just looked up and went, I cast Fireball. And it was like just kind of proving it's like it's adding the theatrics kind of just helps with the visualization, which I think is so cool. And it's just a little thing to do that goes such a long way. That I
You do an incredible
absolutely
job
love.
of that, bro.
Yeah.
thank you.
I was gonna say I noticed I noticed that you also clearly like Liam because you're so good at like describing the spells and stuff.
I was
I
gonna say the
greatly
same-
appreciate it.
just the little like material component parts. Like if I didn't watch Mighty Nine and like how Caleb cast spells, like I probably wouldn't do any of it either.
Yeah, it's just like it's a little bit of like just a little bit of thought, but it just adds so much more storytelling to it and
It's
goes such a
flavor.
long way.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
just so cool.
people often will say like a melee based class or like a martial class is like boring, and that because you're like not doing fun different spells where like you get to like cast this spell or this spell or this spell and they all have different effects, but like you can put the same exact flavor into swinging a sword. Like some people like they play a fighter and they're like, well, I'm gonna hit him with my sword again. And it's like there's so many different things. And Dave, you're really good about this, like sort of describing the movement and the fighting.
Hmm.
And I love doing you can add all that flavor into how you're using your weapon and where you're lining up and how it's like interacting with the things that are happening around you. And again, like if you watch Liam playing a fighter in campaign 3, he does the same thing with Orem. So
Yeah.
And I think there was a moment with Hoagie that you would have appreciated where I think Den had a how do you want to do this? And I like cut the guy's legs off and then did a flip and like butt slammed them or something.
That's right.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
I remember it was funny because I think the very first battle of episode 1 of that campaign, when I remember I started you guys out, it was like a bit of like an Old West, like high noon showdown thing where it's like, I described that. And then, it was a roll for initiative right away. They were like in the middle of a town at high noon battling these like, whatever, these bad guys or whatever. And I can't remember. I think it was Mike. I might have been Mike, but I can't remember if it was Mike or if it was Hoagie. But one of you guys took the axe or the sword and went down, and you described how you went down through him, and you just see blood splurting, like, oh, now I'm covered in blood. I think it might have been Mike, but it was hilarious. The description was just hilarious, but and perfect at the same time. It was like, yeah, I could see that, and it was funny, Okay, so, actually, here's a good follow-up. Because we were talking about Wes earlier. This is for Rec. Did you know Wes was not real Wes when you started the campaign? Was that planned? Or were you surprised, too, when he became wood chips? And this is from Jane.
That was planned months ahead of episode 1.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to keep it a secret, Rev also knew because she needed to make art for Real West. But I mean, if you go back and watch her reaction, you would never know that she knew about it. Like she sold it way better than I did. But I didn't know what Real West looked like because what he looked like in episode 1 was what he looked like when he was put in the time amulet. So, but he changed when he was in there. So when he came out, he looked different. So I didn't know what my character was going to look like until episode 2.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that I was like, I after that session the next day, I called up my other DM. And I was like, I just was in a session 1 last night and someone already died. And like he was like, oh my God, what the fuck campaign are you playing? Like
I felt so afraid and very guilty because I was like, I think I could have saved him, but I would have died.
I was like, oh, Den's that kind of DM. Oh, I gotta be careful.
So a little insight on that
like,
too.
I was like, oh shit, well, everyone lock in.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We gotta go. We can't stay here.
Because it was funny because when Brian had approached me about, hey, we got to do another campaign, right? And I'm like, you're right. And I haven't, and so that's what got the ball rolling. And because Brian had been in the previous campaign, I'm like, hey, I got an idea for a little bit of a, he and I conspiring at the beginning to make something happen like that. And
yeah, to be fair, I didn't know how I was going to die.
Right.
Like, but when
because like it was our idea.
Like there was a moment like before, like 30 seconds before it happened, I was like, oh, I'm about to die. Like,
yeah. So
like, here it is.
It was funny because I wanted it to be that dramatic situation. If you think about episode 1 in a lot of ways, it was like, a lot of campaigns start out as you are in a tavern and you blah, 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 blah. And then you talk in the tavern, then you exit the tavern. Yeah, episode 1 was the tavern that you were in for the campaign at the beginning of it, right? And that was like the entire episode 1. And so, we went through and you kind of got your feet under there. And I told, I'm like, Brian, I want to do this. I want to kill your character. I mean, like annihilate your character in a major big event at the beginning of the campaign for the shock value, and then you'll have your real character come up, right? So we talked through it, and and I didn't tell him how or what, like he was saying, right? But I'm like, he's like, yeah, that's a cool idea. So that's what we did, right? And I'm like, okay, let's have this be that bit of shock value, and explode into wood chips, and then we went from there. So everybody seemed to like it.
Yeah, and it set up an awesome opening to episode 2 as well. So
that's it. Yeah, the reveal, man. I mean, that was so cool.
I wondered as well, because like I
Same.
was like in my head now, I think to myself, like, what would have happened if we'd have just been like, like the locket, I don't know what it does. Fuck it, leave it.
Right.
But like in mad, like that's why, because I remember someone was just like, yeah, like I think Rec, you were like, yeah, I don't know, but if someone were to like get some of that blood all over Access,
Yeah,
do
right,
something
right.
with it, maybe something will happen. And I was like,
I
let me just do this.
improv that on the spot. I had no idea. It's like, what do they have to do? And I was like, fuck, I don't know. Like,
It was good though. It was good.
What? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's awesome. Let's see. I think I kind of, I'll do this one. This is for me from Snow. I kind of answered a little bit of this before, but without giving away too many secrets, what are some of the biggest influences when designing the world of Centromnia? I talked a little bit about that. What about this campaign in particular? Are there any prominent influences from literature? So yeah, I mentioned Chronicles of Narnia. I love that. Obviously, Lord of the Rings, all of those fantasy settings, right? I love that stuff. But I also take influence from so the whole Lazarin arc, and I told the players this at least a little bit after the fact, was actually an original series Star Trek episode that I adapted the basic story of it to fit the campaign. Now I wrote a ton more, right? I mean, there wasn't it was like the episode. It was called Return of the Archons, which is like a Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock go to this planet type of thing. And there was a computer that had controlled it. And so a lot of I designed the town to kind of mimic that. And then Lazarin was essentially that computer, but I expanded the lore way beyond that, right? I mean, those old civilization and everything like that. So I love taking stories like that from another, like totally different kind of media and doing something with it. You guys kind of guessed it a little bit too. I put this little bit in, and when you guys were in the tavern, on the docks at Bloodstone's End, and the postman came in with the box with the note in it from Novris from 100 years before. Yeah, that's basically the end of Back to the Future 2. I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect, right? Because he can do that, right? He could jump around a little bit, we'll see to what extent, but he can do that. I'm like, that would be perfect. So he's just going to continue his conversation because, oops, I'm back 100 years in time. I have to let them know what I was going to let them know. So here it is. I know it'll get there. It's Doc Brown, right? So yeah, I look for stuff everywhere. Really in all literature, movies, TV that I can find. I'm like, that is at least the core of the idea might be something that I just run with, right?
I had a when I was in school, like I studied acting, and so we had a TV and film teacher, and he was a professional director for like years and years and years. And I remember once he was talking about like directors. And he was talking about specifically like Tarantino, and he was comparing like shots, and he was just like, well, like Tarantino, if you look at this shot, like it's this shot from like 50 years early. If you look at that shot, it's this shot. And then he had this phrase that he would always use, and he would always encourage us to always memorize. And it was just genius steals. And it was like, genius doesn't have to be like something that's amazing, something that is mind-blowing. Doesn't have to be like new. you could just take it and just reimagine it. And like that's so much of what you're talking about now.
Yeah, and you know it relates to that. That's exactly it. It's funny you said genius steals. There's also another phrase. You know, a smart person learns from their mistakes. A genius learns from the mistakes of others. Right? It's kind of relates to that. But the other thing is you take those examples and you use them. And that's a good idea. How can I change it to be what I want, but still mirror it? Right? Because if you think about it, there's so much of that in just the world and life and everything, that this is a mirror of that, is a mirror of something else. And when you can do that and show that, and that's, I talked earlier about how Centromnia itself, the idea is I can take all these public, these mythologies, these even religions, these just public domain books, stories, classic things that we all know, and twist it and go, what if that's not what it really was, right? What if this character that you know in this role from this story, that's not their truth? Their truth is something totally different, right? That's the twisted version, right? And that's what I love about being able to do stuff in this world, because you can take those examples and just turn it on its head, right? So
that's what I loved about like the OG Assassin's Creed stories. And for like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, you know, like when like Assassin's Creed 2 came out and Brotherhood through Revelations with Ezio, like, dude, that was crazy. Like when they're talking about like Adam and Eve and like of Eden and like they stole it, and it's like you realize like the way they tied that in with stories that we have, it's so good.
Yeah. You know, and it's funny too, because I'm like when we talk about the lore of the world and just, you know, there's echoes of even other things there, like campaign 1, and you guys have seen a little bit the Potestas stones, and each of the stones represented what I said are the powers at the core of reality. Well, there's a whole lot more lore to that I've written too, that are like, you know, it's life, death, and the elements. And if you think of the elements make up the structure of everything, but what gives it meaning? Life, but without change, without any, you know, danger, without anything like that, life is meaningless. So what gives it that change? It's death. Those three symbols, those three kind of things, you have structure and then you have meaning to it, right? And that's the powers at the core of reality in Centromnia, right? And so that's the whole point, is that's just the one thing. I actually, somebody had asked the question earlier, what type of a character would I play in the world? Yeah, and I said I already had some. Yeah, I think I've told, so Nat, I know I've told you a little bit about this, and I'm not going to go into details here, but I'm developing a whole new class that's specifically for this world, based on the powers at the core of reality. And I would probably play one of those class members, but we'll go into that more. But I'm developing a whole new class, right? So, but it's all tied into the lore of the world, so it's kind of cool. It should be unique if I can do it right. So, yeah. So that's
It's like, sign me up.
right. At least to try it out, right? It was like, all right, what happens?
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's see. Let's see. What's a good one we want to do next? Let's get one for the players. Oh, here. You know what? This is good. And I know who this is from, even though it says anonymous. Let's see. Given the prompt or premise that you were creating a character for a crime syndicate, how big of an influence did that have on your overall character creation process? I know there's been jokes about the Gravehand being the nicest criminals ever, but do you feel like your character lives up to being a criminal today? Or rather, what kind of intentions can you share about your character in that aspect?
Wouldn't you like to know?
What do you think?
I will say, Joe, before even the character, like the crime idea that we were gonna be a crime syndicate even came up, I already knew that I wanted Josie to have a criminal background. So like it kind of lined up a little too perfectly the way that worked out for Josie. So
You're still in Discord. You just dropped out of the camera.
Oh no.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Finding
That's
them.
yeah. I'm gonna refresh my video ninja.
Gosh, no.
That's weird. Okay, I might be back.
There you go. Yep, you're back.
Okay, that was weird. Anyways, so yeah, so and as a part of like the actual being a criminal, I feel like I've definitely been playing Josie really like making her nicer than I originally intended her to be, which I kind of like it like is fine in the end because I don't really want to be mean. Like I feel like the dynamic we have as a team has been really nice. Like not like nice, but like really good dynamic, like a fun dynamic between everyone. So I wouldn't want to like shake that up by playing a mean character. So it's worked out. As opposed to like actual criminal intentions, I feel like I do need to like as you saw like in later episodes, I was trying to do that a little more with like the pickpocketing, but like I kind of want to like she's not like a good like I wasn't intending her to be like a good, super morally righteous person. So I'm trying to play that a little more throughout.
Yeah.
Like as the campaign goes on. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, and it's interesting too because I'll with the crime syndicate thing, I mean, you guys obviously had a big job at the beginning, which went all haywire, right? You've been kind of on the run since then, and you've been trying to clear your name after that initially being on the run thing. So there's been kind of, if you think about that arc, really even 2 to 3 of the episodes were off with the whole Lazarin situation, which was like a side adventure almost, right? So when you think about what you've done, you haven't even gone through that much yet, right? Even though we've been 10 episodes in, it's like you've gone through this. So it's like, yeah, now we're starting to get into, okay, you've done a couple of jobs for the collector now. We'll see how this all plays out. There's another thing I have in mind with that. That maybe we'll see where things steer. So, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
I think a lot of other like good aligned characters I've played would have a really hard time working with someone like the collector and handing over things that are potentially incredibly dangerous and have huge like implications for what someone might do with them. And I think like people say like evil characters or like criminal characters, they don't like think they're the bad guy. They think they're doing something that's like good or in their best interest or benefit. So I see our group as sort of like more of like a neutral, like we're looking out for each other. Like I like as Kat, to be honest, like she doesn't give a fuck about other people. She gives a fuck about the people that have helped her stay alive for the past like year or whatever. Like she cares about you guys and doesn't want to see you get fucked up, but she's not necessarily going to go out of her way to like rescue randos or do something that's going to put like us at risk and what we have for like the good of mankind or whatever. Like that's not the MO right now. So I do think that we work well in that.
Yeah.
Anyone
As, like,
feels
a
honored that you
criminal
think of
group.
him like that.
Yeah, maybe we're all kind of like, oh, there's a goody two shoes around, so we can't really like.
Maybe there's
evil
some
shit.
hipster guy
Yeah.
just sitting around listening in on it.
It's interesting, I think, that like with Kalon, like he has been like I think at the beginning of the campaign you were seeing like a much more like lost and like clouded Kalon, not really like knowing like who he was anymore. And that was a year after like some pretty significant events in his life. And so like the whole like criminal part is that like I don't think Kalon necessarily didn't like I think Kalon probably well, again, not trying to like give up the ghost, but like I don't think he had a problem doing any of the things he probably did with the Gravehand Syndicate, just because of the fact that like he didn't really have a path anymore. Like he was just kind of like doing what helped him survive.
Mm-hmm.
But as of like episode 10, you're now seeing a much more guided and hopeful Kalon with a lot more conviction in his steps, specifically with the introduction of Awen, you know what I mean? And everything that character's arc has brought to Kalon's arc. So I think that now I don't know if there were like opportune, like again with the collector being the sort of influence over our criminal ways right now. I think Kalon has probably a lot to talk to the collector about after the events of episode 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. All right. Next question. This is for everybody. If your character had to die, how would they want to? From Jane.
Stabbed by
Feels
the
like a setup.
stabbed by
Jane
the
and I are in
paladin that
cahoots. She asked these questions so I can get ideas.
Yeah, I know how Awen would.
stabbed by the paladin that said that he would follow him to the ends of the earth. That seems like the right way to die in anyone's mind.
Killed by a kissable hot boy.
Killed by a hot boy. The
That's right.
kiss
With
of
a
death.
moody sword.
Oh, she's
It's a
little
it's a
testy, don't
tainted
worry.
sword.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I think Kalon would want to go out not seeking vengeance, but definitely righting the wrongs that sort of derailed his identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
I
you
think
go ahead.
even if it killed him, to get his soul back would be what Wes would want, but he would only do it if he knew that he left Josie in a safe position.
Oh.
Got a
life
insurance policy, dude.
$1 million gold policy or something, you know.
Yeah.
My
In
God.
Josie's name.
That's right. That's right. Anybody else?
I feel like
Man
Awen,
wants to
if-
protect Josie so bad, but I'm the one out here protecting him in all these episodes. Sorry, Awen. Sorry.
You're a
No,
loose
you're all
cannon, Wes.
I feel like Awen, like, he obviously he wouldn't want to choose to die if he had the choice, but if it was like no other choice, I think he would hope that it was in an effort to, right now, in an effort to do whatever he could to gain back the trust of the people he used to have, and I'll leave it at that. And if it caused him to die, he would hope that those people would find out that he tried his hardest to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Josie, she has some unfinished business that she just outwardly would refuse to die until that gets taken care of. So I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't think she would care how she went after, like, until that, if the unfinished business were to get taken care of.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't know.
Cool. Anybody else?
You want to go first, Spell? Do you have something?
I think Axis is very indifferent on when death finds them, as long as they are at least somewhat certain that they protected those that they could.
I similarly don't think I could say what way she'd like to go out, because I think that Kat's actually really afraid of dying. I think she's really scared from near-death experiences in the past. I think she's just really looking to avoid it at all costs, and that's why she's with the people she's with, because she knows they're strong. Yeah. I think that's it. I think she's just not at anything, like, she just doesn't want to go. She doesn't want it to be painful. She doesn't want it to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
She just likes where she's at.
Cool. All right. Let's see. This is another one for me. In the Mustaran Rangers, there were some homebrew-like weapons and lore that you implemented into the campaign. For example, Hoagie's Silent But Deadly. Do you have any plans to do similar things for this campaign, or anything you can share or hint at in those regards? Well, if you look at episode 10, I think perhaps there was one that, was just picked up. But I'm always open for that type of an idea, because I think, those types of weapons and cool shit like that is just awesome, right? They can be quest-based. I mean, that's the type of thing that reminds me of like old D&D, like the original dungeon crawl type things where like, oh, there's lore of this, ancient, amazing weapon. It's like Excalibur is in, stuck in this stuff. Can you go get it? Right? Like that type of a thing. So stuff like that, I'm always open for. Right. So it's just, the players would also have to be like, hey, I could use one of them weapons. This is my idea. Right. So I'm, I work with everybody. Let's see if we could fit it into the lore. Right. So, cool. All right, let's see. Oh, let's get another one for everybody. Because there's a few more for me too. But here we go. Let's do this. A question to everyone: if you couldn't play your character, whose character would you most want to adopt as your new PC?
Hey, when.
Oh. I was going to say Wes.
There you go. You guys can swap.
Yeah, you want to swap
Body
for next
swap.
session?
I get a level up.
That
Yay!
gives me an idea.
Oh, that's why you want
Freaky Friday.
You want me for my level. You don't want me for my character. No, we can swap next episode, and then you can die, and then I can be like, Brian, why the hell did you kill my character? And then I'll play Wes for the rest of the campaign.
Hey, 10, how high is this cliff? Does Awen know Featherfall?
Right.
He does?
No.
I don't cast it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't.
This
cast
is
it.
for Hoagie.
Honestly,
I
for
break
like
concentration mid.
it's a little meta-gamey, but things that Dennis told me about like contribution to like world building, I low-key am like very interested to like know more about Josie. And like, yeah, not for the sake of like the class per se. Like I've played rogues before, like they're fun, but like I just like if I could like have the knowledge of anyone's character, I would want to know more
The
about
Josie
like all
arc is
this
gonna
stuff.
be great.
So
But that's what I mean. Is like I feel like I've heard like whispers on the wind. You know what I'm saying?
So, and it was funny because that was the comment that I made to Dave was, man, with the work that the stuff you give me on the Zenith, I said, between you and Rev, I think you've given me more. Like you two are the ones who've given me the most about like the world stories and everything that I can build upon. Right. So, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Anybody else? Bruce like, nope, want to play my own character.
I mean, Awen.
I'd literally play anybody.
Druids. I like druids, man.
Druids are
I
fun.
love playing a druid.
Druids are the best, dude.
Love
I've
it.
never
It's probably
played
my
Circle
favorite
of
class.
The
Stars
spells are
either.
so nice.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Yeah,
such a great subclass.
It is, and it kind of everyone goes Circle of Moon because you get to get your flying, wild shapes earlier. But I'll tell you what, man, like I love the Starry Archer form. Like that's not a homebrew or anything. That's like a actual part of the class. It's so cool.
It's glorious.
Tasha's, I think.
And then like I was sitting here and I was like, oh, I'm finally doing a concentration spell. I finally don't have to worry about the damage. Like I can finally do a different one because there's 3 different ones. There's a chalice for healing, where if you heal someone else, you get health yourself. And then I got to do the little 3D printer of Gia and made my own little dragon, which is what it says in the thing. You make.
I wish
like
I fucking saw that too. I was blushing.
I know, it's so sad. We'll do it another time.
Did.
Yeah, it was funny because when I was thinking of it, I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool and they're going to really like it. Oh, they're blinded.
Yeah.
Crap. Well, oh well. Oh, and my camera went.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you said, they're blinded. It was
There we go.
Right.
But yeah, Circle of Star Druid is just so cool, and it doesn't get the love that it deserves.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it was fun last time. This campaign we've got 2 paladins. Last campaign we had 2 barbarians and 2 druids and a rogue. It was like, that was a crazy combo. It was funny.
That's a crazy combo.
Yeah, it was nuts. Let's see. There are anybody else? I think we got everybody, right? Anybody not answer that one? Okay. All right. There was actually 2 other questions here that I think I probably should have combined into one. The first one I'll show here was Jane had asked me, when world building, what is usually the first thing you do? Maps, characters, story. That relates to another one that I think we'll also show, or I'll show here, which was from actually very similar question, Ben and Kate. Would you consider the hardest and easiest parts of world building? And what's your favorite and least favorite part? So I think they're all very closely related. As far as the order, like what I do first, be honest with you, for world building, it's whatever I'm inspired by at the time. I mean, it's kind of one of those like, oh yeah, I get an idea for something, that's what I'm working on. And I'll have these things where I'm like, oh, I got to get this part of the idea out, and then boom, let that sit for a little bit, and then work on something else, and then okay, I'm going to go back to that. When it's appropriate. Like I have half of the city of Ondoran completely mapped right now. I have to finish that map, and then Rev and I have to sit down and talk about all the details because she would know it intimately. So yeah, I kind of go back and forth as to what I do first, right? There's really no set order. It's whatever I'm inspired by. Hardest and easiest parts of world building, or my favorite and least favorite, which are, I don't know, probably the same. Probably just my least favorite is the mechanical part of I have to put it all down, like get it all organized and put in pen paper so that it, like my brain can manage it during a session or in between sessions or whatever, right? In fact, that's part of what I'm trying to build our apps, and I actually have right now an entire database, AI database that I have created on GitHub that I can let like Claude or ChatGPT go into the entire set of markdown files I have for all of the world lore and be like, what was this again? Oh yeah, in this, I got it indexed and everything, so I'm building that. And it's just keeping track of all of it is truly the hardest thing. I need it in a good format that's easily accessible to me. The best parts about it though are just the creating the stories, creating the world, tying the plots together, expanding on I love it. I just, I love all of that stuff. So and I hope that kind of answers those questions. I mean, I'm always happy to discuss world building. Okay, let's see. This one here. This could be, this might be our last one. All right, this is for everybody. From Anonymous and from Kate. If your character wasn't adventuring, what would they be doing with their life? Would they like to try that sort of life after the adventure's over? Or, and Kate said, what would your character be doing if they weren't adventuring? So,
teaching, and 110% yes, they would love to go back. But I feel like that's pretty obvious.
Not to be grim or anything here, but I think without ever getting into any sort of adventuring or connected with Josie when he did, Wes probably would have just fucking decayed into nothing and perished.
oh,
Oh, good.
right. No pressure or anything on Josie. Anybody else?
Right, like how do you compete with that?
I think if Kalon hadn't like found like everyone, I think he would be like a hermit. I think he would be somewhere in a cave or like in some like he'd be that dude that was like that we fought just before the fucking thing.
I was
like,
gonna say the guy with the radiant
less like zany and radiant energy, but like I think he would have removed himself, and I think he would have probably gone somewhere to just I don't know, just think and mull on everything, and just try and find himself. But I think that luckily he's found a group of people that are helping him do that a lot quicker.
Obi, Kalon Obi.
Live in a cave.
That's right. That's right.
Hell yeah, baby. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've mentioned this like briefly, but Josie like she likes going to the library. She likes learning stuff. So I could see her, I don't know, maybe just traveling, maybe just gaining more knowledge. Like, I mean, if Wes is gonna fucking decay into whatever, like they're gonna live the rest of her life depressed or go do something about it. So yeah.
I was going to say, after Wes's comment, after Brian's comment about Wes, Rev's comment about Josie is actually when she's done, she's going to have a nice pile of firewood. So,
just to have that.
Right. All right. Anybody else? What do you think?
I think I instinctively almost wanted to say, and you would probably think that Kat would want to like do something like what her family did, like have a ranch and raise drakes and like have like that bit like a big farmhouse or whatever and be like settled down. But I think given where she is mentally, she just wants to like keep going and keep herself distracted and keep moving. So I think it would be something like hunting and nomadic and selling shit to get by and like something basically as adjacent to adventuring as you can get. Like she would stay moving. She's not going to settle down. She's not going to give herself a second to like, it's all about distraction. It's like,
Right.
I don't want my brain to have 2 seconds of quiet to contemplate because that won't be good. I can't deal with that. So she's like on the move.
Yeah.
Hunting, something like that. That's like super focused activities like hunting, where it takes all of your focus on the activity and your brain doesn't have extra room to do all the bad stuff, the bad brain stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that my answer was to like if they weren't adventuring, like if they had never gotten to adventure, this is like before anything happened. I think now, Wes probably has found enough purpose to, pursue higher goals.
Right.
But like way back when, if, things hadn't gone the way they did and, he had never gotten connected with Josie and all that, those things that we'll get into at some point. Yeah. I don't think he would have found much purpose in existing in whatever state he was in.
Yeah. Awesome. That, I believe, is the end of all the questions that were submitted.
Cool.
Yeah.
We did it.
I don't know if anybody has any other comments or things they want to say or, I mean, we got, a few minutes left before we can, we can end it here after that, but.
Tell me all your shit. What the fuck is up?
Put the gun
All right,
down.
first it started with my childhood.
Oh my.
Started when I
You
was a
see
baby and it ended in session 10.
Yeah. Well, so here's a question for you guys and for the audience. Did you like doing this? Was this fun? Is
Yeah, it
this
was
something
fun.
you might want to do in the
Yeah.
future?
Really fun.
Yeah.
I think it was really good just to like air out things about your own character, but also like hear like perspectives on like everyone else's characters, and just like kind of answers questions that I've had in my own head floating around about everyone's characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool to be able to like talk about stuff without being like metagamey during a session or like constantly being like, okay, above table, you know.
Well, because, you know, and I mean, I've seen Critical Role do stuff like this. I mean, they sometimes have a weekly show, but, you know, even if we did it, say, after a certain story arc, like after 3, 4, 5 episodes, maybe in between while I'm developing the next arc or something like that, we could do one of these, right? And go, okay, what did you think about that? You know, and how, even if it's just a discussion, like how we feel, or if we take questions live, or if we pre-submit them, whatever. So it might be kind of fun.
Down.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, and it looks like, just looking at the chat, it looks like there's some, what do you call it? Comments to the positive for in that way too. So awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you all for taking the time tonight to do this. I know everybody, it seems like everybody in chat appreciated it. I know I appreciated it. Now I have new stuff to throw at you too. But
oh no!
yeah,
It's
right.
the actions of my consequences.
Oh no!
Oh no, you can traumatize me.
Yeah, right. More. Yeah, right. That's right. Okay. Well, everybody in chat, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Sounds like we'll do this again in the future. So, but next episode will be in about 2 weeks. If I can hit my microphone over here. 2 weeks from tomorrow night, we will have episode 11, and I might give you guys the video of the end sequence from episode 10 before that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll put it out there. So, with that said, everybody have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.